Hello, everyone. How are you doing? It's your boy, Dr. Will, and I'm here with another episode of the Dr. Will Show. Okay, can I get a what? We're talking about student help desk teams, and I'm here with Kerry Gallagher. You heard it, people. I'm here with Kelly Gallagher. Remember, she's been paperless, and now she's on a new mission. So, Kerry, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me tonight.
Awesome, awesome. Glad to have you back. Now, for those who have been on the moon or somewhere and may not know who you are, uh, introduce yourself.
Oh my gosh. So I have been a history teacher at the middle and high school levels for about 13 years. Over the past couple of years, I've taken a keen interest in technology integration, and so that's become a really important part of my students' experience in my class and how they access content. I went paperless about 2 years ago, so my classroom is with their phones, their tablets, their netbooks, their laptops, and we go from there. We don't use textbook. I don't pass out papers. I don't collect papers. I don't even know what their handwriting looks like, actually, now that I think about it. And so I've been doing a lot of work around sharing my practices through my blog in that paperless model, and how I really think it helps kids collaborate better, how it helps them produce better media and content to share with the world. And that has developed into a passion of about how I teach history with technology, but how all teachers can use technology. And my students have recently joined me in that endeavor. So that's why we're here tonight.
Excellent, excellent. So, our middle school has one. Your school has one, and Jennifer Shelfer School. Shout out to Jennifer Shelfer. Her school has a student help desk team. So, what was the genesis behind creating a one for your school? And what exactly is a help desk team?
So I think in your school and in Jen Sheffer's school in Burlington, Mass, and in my school in Reading, Mass, I think it looks different in every school depending on what that school's needs are. One of the things that's unique about my school is that we're a BYOD school. We're one-to-one. And our district has no intentions of going one-to-one. We're thoroughly committed to the BYOD route. So our help desk has to look different as a result of that. The students perform a much different function than students do from other help desk schools. So one of the things that I've noticed about help desk models that I've networked with, either by speaking with you or with Jen Sheffer or with other people around the country, is that most of the time they're initiatives that come from the top and from administration, from technology leadership in the district or in the school, and they're built from there. And ours is different because it came from me, a classroom teacher. And an idea they had, I emailed a few students over the summer and said, hey, would you want to give this a shot with me? And they jumped at the chance. And so we've been piloting it this year just voluntarily. They've given up studies, I've given up prep periods and lunches, and we rolled it out this year kind of from the grassroots level. So, so what is a help desk? I think in a one-to-one district it can be helping teachers and students troubleshoot, fix machines. But for us it's different. They're providing real true tech integration advice to students and teachers. They're testing apps, they're creating screencast tutorials. Teachers are coming to us with ideas for projects, and students are offering them lots of different alternative ideas to make that project a reality. And then we're helping them roll that out in their classrooms. We've done classroom visits at the elementary level. We've presented at professional conferences together. We've interviewed EdTech entrepreneurs, so they're connecting with the business world so that they can see how to produce a product that their customer base, in our case, teachers and students in their district, would be interested in. So for us, it's multifaceted, but one thing we don't do is what a lot of help desk teams do is we don't fix anybody's tech because we're BYOD, so it's different.
Mm-hmm. So how is it organized? Is it a class for credit? Is it a school club, or do students meet during their free planning period?
So for us, it's purely voluntary. Students meet during their free period, or they give up a lunch, or they eat while they're working with me. This year, this was our pilot year, but we're happy to announce that we are going to be an elective that will be for credit next year. And so it will be a part of my job. So I'll now be splitting my time between history and being the help desk advisor. And it's going to count toward the business and technology credits that are required for graduation at our school. So we're growing from that pilot voluntary to something that's going to become a more integral part of the school. And we're in the program of studies for next year, and students are selecting it, and we're hoping for lots of interest. So.
Okay, so what does an average day look like for your help desk team? And what would you say are the tangible and intangible skills that they're learning from their participation?
I can speak to today, for instance. Last week was a big week. Last week we presented to school committee. So, another example of them presenting to adults in leadership in our district and in the kind of genre of education and technology. We also went on a field trip. We visited the Navisite data center in Andover. So Navisite is a division of Time Warner Company, and what Navisite does is they host and secure data for companies. And so their flagship facility happens to be 2 towns away from my school. So we got to see this huge data center and talk to the experts who help run the facility, engineers, electricians, sales and marketing, you name it. What else do we do? Oh, we also did an in-person consultation with a math teacher who was looking for a way to streamline her homework hand-in process so that it took up less class time and she had more time to teach. So that was a big week for us because they are giving up lunch periods and study periods. They don't meet, nor are they getting credit. So that many projects in 1 week, it was pretty big. So today we sat down, we kind of debriefed, we figured out who was going to write the blog posts and create the content to be posted on our website as a reflection of all the projects we did last week. And they got to work. I had one student creating a screencast tutorial with a headset and a laptop. I had another student, embedding our Google presentation into a blog post, and then she went on YouTube and found the local cable access recording of the school committee meeting, and she embedded that and wrote her reflection. I had another student trying to figure out how to use some image editing software to put together like a screenshot tutorial of something that we worked on last week. So today was a lot of content production, whereas last week was a lot of public speaking and professional networking. So it does depend week to week, but as you can see from everything I just mentioned, the skills, the tangible skills there's plenty, right? There's problem solving, there's research and investigation for solutions, there's planning and preparation for formal meetings, there's then attending and speaking publicly at those formal meetings, knowing that there's a lot at stake. There's networking with professionals and asking lots of really good questions. So there's a lot of skills that they're getting, and I'm thankful that they're not just producing something that's helping people in our community, which is obviously a great service, but they themselves are acquiring those skills by talking to the professionals. And schools shouldn't just be about preparing kids for the real world. We should be a bridge to the real world. So I feel like we're able to provide that for them.
Cool. I like that. School should be a bridge to the real world. I'm going to take that one.
Okay, you can use it.
Okay, you and I, we have Twitter. We attend conferences. Our schools, our district provides PD. How do your help desk students learn the tools? I mean, where do they go to learn the tools?
I think that it comes with, for them, it's investigation research, it's trial and error. It's through word of mouth from their friends, what their friends are using in their classes. But I also, they're coming to the professional conferences with me, either in person or they're presenting with me using a Google Hangout like we're doing right now. As a matter of fact, I presented at a conference in Florida in December, and I feel like if I'm going to present about this help desk model, my students need to be a part of it. They helped write the course description, for goodness sake. The course description that's in our program of studies for next year was written by my students. It wasn't written by me at all, because they're helping design it and put it together and make sure, I want to make sure that they are buying into it and that they're a real part of it. So they're learning from those experiences because they are with professionals on a regular basis. But like I said before, beyond that, it's about research and problem solving. We learn by doing. That's how human beings learn. And they're in the midst of that every day that they arrive at Help Desk, for sure.
Cool. So they're doing these great things, and I'm a firm believer in, and my wife talks about this all the time, in students showcasing their work, teachers telling their story. So in that, what opportunities exist for the students on the help desk team to showcase their talents outside of school?
Outside of school. So, you know, I guess to start within school, I send out like weekly emails to the staff, letting the staff know that the students have created these tutorials that are available for the staff to use, and so that they can access them and use them and share them. Outside of school, you know, like I've said, they've had video chats with ed tech professionals. Just within the past couple of weeks, they had a Google Hangout on-air interview with Swaroop Raju, who's one of the co-founders of EduCanon, which we're a big fan of. I have several colleagues who like to flip their classrooms, and it's an awesome tool for that. We also did a video GHO with Rashawn Richards, who's the co-creator of Explain Everything. But we did that after meeting him in person at MassQ, which is the biggest ed tech conference in Massachusetts. And it's because they were there with me, presenting with me about the paperless classroom. And we made that professional connection, asked him if he'd be interested in chatting with us, you know, in a more private way via GHO, and he was into it, and they were able to make that connection and learn a lot from him. So through those interviews, they're learning from professionals what motivates them, how they use those skills in the real world, and the students can then take those lessons back to Help Desk and think about what skills they need to hone so that the products and the content that they're producing for their community can be of a higher quality and can be more useful, and how they can get more feedback from teachers and students in our school. So their ability to showcase their work outside of the district comes from the networking that kind of naturally is a part of ed tech, and it's about including my students in that networking. So, you know, of course, with their permission and their parents' permission, they're coming with me. You know, their faces are out there on the GHOs, their words, their questions that they drafted, their ideas, and everything that we do, we publish on our blog. And of course, I advertise the heck out of that on Twitter, because I want to make sure that they get lots of attention for the awesome work that they're doing. So.
Okay, so you mentioned all of these connections and networking they're having with people from going to these conferences, etc. How did how did your students connect with Jen Sheffer and her help desk team? How did that come about, and what did you do?
So Jen Sheffer and I have been mutually following one another on Twitter for a while. You know, my role is fundamentally different than hers at my school. I'm a history teacher, whereas hers is more tech integration focused. It's like a part of the job. For me, it's just an interest, and it had become a part of the way I function, I guess. So once I decided to pilot the help desk, reaching out to her about it seemed to make a lot of sense, because she had experience in it. And she was eager to get my students and her students connected so that they could share their experiences and expertise with mine, who are kind of just starting ours from the ground up. And, you know, it moved really fast. We were able to have a couple of Google Hangouts with them. One was just a teacher-student discussion about the different help desk models that exist around New England. There was one in Maine, and then several districts from Massachusetts in there. Groton Dunstable was there. Linfield was in there. We were in there, Burlington. And then a group up from Maine was in there. and and then we did an app smash kind of thing, or an app throwdown kind of thing, for where each group presented their app tutorial for 10 minutes to all the other groups, and that it was fun. But I think the best networking that we did with her and her group was in person and Math Q for sure, because obviously connections face to face are better, and those GHOs that have a lot of boxes along the bottom of the screen can sometimes be overwhelming. But it was, but yeah, and I think one of the things that we learned from them is that Burlington is one-to-one and we're not. So there are certain things that we can take from their model, and there's other things that we can't, that we have to make our own. And that's kind of the fundamentals behind Helpdesk. It needs to be what the district or what the schools or what the students and teachers there need, depending on the profile of that district, the culture of that district, the resources available in that district. So, yeah, I mean, we connected with them because they're right down 93, but and we learned a lot from them. And I think we've learned that we're going to continue to network with them, but our model and their model are going to take their own shapes based on our communities for sure.
Okay, cool. Now you're doing some amazing things. So what has been the response from teachers and members of the community to the work being done by the Helpdesk students?
Yeah, I think one of my biggest goals is to do a better job over the next year or so, now that we're going to be an official elective and I'll be able to dedicate more time to it, a better job kind of marketing our services. So within the high school, I think we've done a good job. We've had several teachers come to us for consults, and we've helped them come to a solution for the vision that they had in their classroom. I know I've had several teachers come up to me and let me know that they've used the screencast tutorials in their classroom with their students. One of our popular ones was Evernote. Another really popular one was EduCreations. Skitch has done pretty good. So those are some tools that are getting a lot of use in our district, mostly because they're available on multiple platforms and we're BYOD. So we try to target those kinds of tools. And then, recently, like I said before, we presented to school committee, and then a school committee member happened to be walking down the hall today when I was wheeling a cow down the hall from my classroom back to storage to put it away, and she said, I really, really want to get into Twitter, but I signed up, and she mentioned a couple of things that she's not seeing that she was hoping to see, and she said, if you could just have the kids make a basic tutorial on the basics of Twitter, that would be awesome. So, now we're starting to get requests not just from within our school, but from the broader community. Like a school committee member, obviously that's an honor to get a request from one of them. We also got a request a little bit early in the year from a 5th grade math teacher, and we were able to go down to her classroom and help our students learn how to collect data using Google Forms from their classmates. So we're starting to reach out beyond our school, but we'd like to get the word out more in the community so that we can get more response and more feedback about how we can help the community beyond the school. One of the things my principal has recommended to me a couple of times is you should get the word out to parents. I think parents would like to see some tutorials on exactly what their students are using. Even if it's a tutorial about what exactly is Snapchat, because they're all on it all day. So when a parent sees their kid on Snapchat, what does that mean? If we can help with that, then maybe that's part of what we'll be tackling next year.
Excellent. So what we've done, just to throw it out there, in terms of our services marketing, and that's just for instructional. I'm trying to think about what we call now district instructional technologists. We have a booking site where teachers can go in, look at the services we offer, and they can choose which day, what training, what time, and which person they want to deliver that training. And so that's what we have used, and it's been successful for us because we're no longer dependent on a principal to arrange, trainings for the teachers. I mean, they still can, but teachers themselves can say, hey, I want Schoology training delivered by Will on Thursday at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, so providing a portal so that teachers can make a request more. So for now, the requests have been either sent to me via email from my colleagues, or we have our own Gmail account that the kids set up because they wanted Helpdesk to have its own Gmail account. So we've gotten a couple of requests through there, but that's great advice, making it more specific and allowing them to choose from drop-down menus and make choices that that fit them better. So we have a bigger picture before we even meet with them face-to-face. That's great.
Cool, cool. So before we get out of here, okay, for those who are watching this video and are saying this is cool, I like this, I would like to try this, but I don't know where to start. What advice do you have for them for creating a student help desk team?
So if you're like me and you're a teacher and you're not in an official leadership capacity, of course among teachers there are lots of teacher leaders. Don't mistake what I'm saying here. But one of the things that I said last year, I was in a Twitter chat, and I don't exactly remember which chat it was, but I kind of threw it out there. I wish our school had a help desk team so that students could really share all of the awesome things they're doing with technology that teachers don't even know about. And it was Jimmy Casas who tweeted me back, and he was like, no offense, but why wish it? Why don't you just make it? So my advice would be if you feel like this is something that your school could use that would allow students to have more of a voice in how things are being done in the classroom, would provide them with a way to contribute more to their community and to be able to talk with educators about what works for them and what doesn't work for them, then just do it. Just start it. I just wrote a pilot proposal like that week after I got that tweet. I was like, he's right. I need to get up off my butt and just do it. So I wrote the proposal. I submitted it to all the necessary parties. I was met with lots of questions, some of which I didn't have answers to. A lot of them were, what if this happens, and what if it doesn't work because of this, and what if it doesn't work because of this? And my answers were always, well, we won't know until we try. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but it's just a pilot. It's not going to hurt anybody. And I'm volunteering my time anyway. As long as I was willing to volunteer my time and I had some students who were willing to give it a shot with me, it's hard to say no to a teacher who has an idea like that, especially if there's passion behind it. So it's worked to my favor. They've done lots of work. We've only grown. We're very busier, more requests than we can handle for sure, especially with the limited time and resources we have under the pilot conditions. Make sure that the kids who are involved in it are talking about it to their friends and spreading the word, because the more excitement is built up within the student population, the more important the program will become. I think that's it, just and make sure that the kids are willing to give things a try and take a risk. But if the teacher is there taking a risk anyway, they're willing to do it. So it's really all about that teacher mindset and teacher support and, saying to the kids, what do you think we should do? And if they throw out an idea, let them try it, even if you're not sure it's going to work, because sometimes they came up with better ideas than we do. So my advice would be, if you want to try it, just give it a shot. And once the kids are on board, give them some rope and trust them, because the more rope I've given them, the better our program has become, for sure.
Awesome. Fantastic. It was awesome having you on again, Kerry. And as always, folks, this is going to be on the blog, and I'm going to be tweeting this out as well. You can check it out on my Google Plus channel and YouTube. So thank you for another episode of the Dr. Will Show, and be on the lookout for my show with Katie Williams on coding. Thanks for coming, Kerry.
Thanks so much for having me. It was good to talk to you again, Will.